All right, everybody, we have almost reached our destination, and the last stop is how to get started. I am here again with Alexandre and Vinicius, who is also communication officer at the JS. Thank you for joining. Alexandre, a question. If I'm an applicant, where do I go for help? I think we've said a few things already, but it's worth mentioning again.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning again. The CPs have been mentioned quite often today. And indeed, the first thing to get started is to get in touch with your contact point. We have tried, it's also been said, to simplify the program, the application process, even our procedures, as much as we could in this programming period. But still, we realize that it's a lot of information to take in. Sometimes it's a complicated process, developing an application form. So our member states have chosen to have this network of contact points throughout the Northwest Europe regions. There's at least one per country, often more, as you can see in this slide, and they're really here for you. And so we really invite you to use them, if I may, to optimize and maximize your chances to have a successful application. And one thing I want to say about contact points, I think it was mentioned also, they're not just here to give out information on the program or to communicate and promote the program, they're also here to help you really in the development of your application form, both in step 1 and in step 2. And then a second thing on how to get help, how to get started, it's this brand new online platform that we have created. We often get this question, where can I go to build my partnership? Where can I find partners? And that's why we have created this tool specifically for applicants, whether they're project partners or lead partners, to find potential organizations to join their partnership, to join their consortium, or for individual organizations to find a project that they could potentially join.
All right, Vinicius, a few words on the community?
Yeah, thanks, Perrine and Alexandre. So, as was said many times today, Interreg Northwest Europe is all about cooperation in many levels. And these starts already at this application phase where like a lot of networking and exchanges should already be happening, so partners are able to develop strong application and partnerships. So finding partners and from a specific region or within a specific expertise or simply a good project idea in the pipeline are all key elements, as we've seen today, that all applicants should be considering right now. And in this programming period, so the period of 2021-2027, we are trying really to increase the support we give to applicants. And with that in mind, we developed this brand new Northwest Europe online community, a brand new platform that I would like to introduce to you now. We are proud to introduce you to the new online community for the Interreg Northwest Europe program. The secure platform was carefully developed for users from NWE regions to support you in the application phase of the program. The community has easy and user-friendly navigation. Once connected, users have access to 3 main features, namely Find Partners, Browse Ideas, and Messages. First, in the Find Partner section, you'll be able to navigate through our directory of organizations and individuals who are registered to our community. This is interesting if you are looking for partners to build your project partnership, to join a project idea, or just to network. You can tailor your search to your specific needs by using the filtering options. This will enable you to focus on particular program priorities and specific objectives, or a precise expertise. You can also filter per type of stakeholder or per country. Just keep in mind that the filters work with levels, so you should first choose the priorities and then move to the selection of specific objectives and subsequently to the more detailed search options. Second, many organizations already have a project idea that they're working on. Perhaps they're just lacking your specific expertise for their partnership to fly. These project ideas are published on the Browse Ideas section, which can also be filtered to narrow down your search results. Submit your own project idea, as it will give your organization more visibility. Finally, there can be no community without actual exchanges. After you found the organizations or ideas that you're looking for, you can directly contact the involved stakeholders using the Messages section. This works as a regular online chat, and you can easily exchange messages in a secure way. When you write to someone using the chat, they will receive a notification email in their mailbox. This way, you can rest assured that your message will be seen. So what are you waiting for? If you're not already registered, open a new tab and connect to community.nweurope.eu to create your profile and start exchanging with your new potential partners. Click on Sign Up on the top right of the homepage and fill in your personal details as completely as possible. Raise your visibility by creating also your organization profile, or select it if your organization is already in our system. Then click on Submit and you're in. Welcome to the Northwest Europe online community.
All right, so we have seen the numerous features the community offers, but Alexandre, we have some other documents available too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Since the opening of the call on 22nd of March, the major reference documents to prepare your application form are available. That's the draft Interreg program, first of all, but also the program manual and a draft version of the application form in Word version. So partners can work on it outside of GEMS and exchange it, send it by email. It's an easy tool to use. One thing I also want to highlight is, because these documents are quite long, our Interreg program in particular, we have prepared some fact sheets to summarize each one of the specific objectives. What is the challenge? What is the objective? What activities we're expecting? What results we're expecting? And the target audiences for each one of these SOs. So that can be a really useful tool, a quick summary to immediately be able to identify, does my project idea fit with what is expected by the program?
All right. Peter, any reactions?
There are indeed some reactions. So we're really getting a lot of questions about, especially the first call. So what are the topics for the call? Are they already published or are the same, or even going into call 2? What are the topics that we're going to be addressing?
Topics for call 1. What do we have to say? Alexandre, maybe.
Well, it's what we call a regular call, meaning that all the priorities and all the specific objectives are open for this call. We are aiming to have, that's what is foreseen at this stage, one regular call every 8 to 10 months on average. So the second call should be launched towards the end of this year. But yeah, that is the rhythm. So all the priorities that we were presenting earlier will be open, and applicants can apply on these.
And Anna is also asking if the topics for the second call will be different from the first call. Do we know yet or not?
I cannot confirm this for sure at this stage, but as said, what is foreseen is to have a regular call every 8 to 10 months. So the second call should be indeed open to, similarly to this call, 1 should be open to all priorities and specific objectives.
To be confirmed towards the end of the year. Peter, anything else?
There are indeed quite a few more other questions that have been coming up. I want to go to one that's related specifically to project development. So Pierre is asking about measurable results. This question specifically relates to circular economy, but I think it goes to the other priorities as well. So when you're saying measurable results when it comes to circular economy, or, for example, as well, inclusive society and innovation, the human factor is essential. Do you accept qualitative approaches?
All right, so what can we say about qualitative approaches, maybe as opposed to quantitative? Do they both go together, Alexandre?
Well, I mean, basically when we say measurable, everything can potentially be measurable. So both quantitative, obviously, but also qualitative things can be measurable, and it can apply to potentially any domain. So yes, if that is the question, I cannot read it from here, but yes, qualitative data can be considered as measurable.
Yeah, so we can accept them.
Yeah.
Right, Peter, maybe one last question before we have to close.
Okay, so if I have to choose probably the one last question, I think I'm going to go for one that is going to combine something related to finances. So there's one person that's asking about what the overall budget of a project is to be eligible. And then there's also another one about what financial information needs to be provided at step 1 and how far is it binding for step 2. So can you talk a little bit more about just developing a budget maybe for this call?
So in step 1, we're going to be asking for an indicative budget. So there's really not much that we're asking. The finance will mostly be for step 2. We're going to be asking for an overall budget, the RDF, And we asked for an indicative estimate of the budget which would be dedicated to investments. That's it for step one. And what was the first part of the question, sorry?
The overall budget of our projects to be eligible.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum?
No, there is no, that is not an eligibility criteria, the budget. It's often a question that we get, once again, what's the average budget or what budget we should have. There again, I mean, as was said, for the average partnership or for the average duration of a project, it really depends on what objective you set for your project, and build the budget depending on that. Don't try to fit to an average or to something that which would not naturally come with what you're aiming for with your budget.
All right.
Your project.
Thank you very much, Alexandre and Vinicius. We have come to the end of our journey, but before we finish, we have 3 final questions and a winner. Peter, that's the quiz for you.
Yes, so we have one final quiz, 3 last questions. With this one, please keep in mind, there is a prize at the end, so please do your best, and we will see later on who will be the recipient of this prize. So why don't we go ahead and get the quiz started again, 20 seconds per response. Here we go. First question, how many potential risks should a project describe in its application form? Should it be 4? Should it be 2? Should it be 3? Should it be only 1? What do you think? Okay, why don't we go in for the results? And 79% of you have got the right answer, that there should be 3 described in the application form. So please make sure that when you are describing the major risks involved in your project, pick the top 3. Why don't we move on to the second question now. Where can you check if your application meets the step 1 eligibility criteria? Can you go to the program manual? Can you go to the fact sheets? Can you go to the terms of reference for call 1? Or should you go to the Northwest Europe online community? What do you think? All right, and the correct answer, this one, was chosen by 68% of you. Very well done. You should go to the program manual for this information. Always go to the program manual. It is your friend. It's quite a detailed document, and there's plenty of information there. Let's go to our final question. The Northwest Europe online community allows me to, there are multiple answers possible for this one, see projects, ideas in the pipeline and exchange with potential partners, access an overview of the Northwest Europe stakeholders, get in touch with the potential new partners, or order a cheeseburger. Why not? And the correct answer, are A, B, and C. So sorry, you can't order a cheeseburger from the Northwest Europe online community, but you can do all of these other things. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard.
So we do have a winner, and I think the name is Julien. I cannot read the surname, but hey, Julien, we have some waffles from Lille to send to you. So please be so kind as to send your address to Peter, and you can find Peter's email address in the FAQ section of Slido. And of course, the confetti is for Julien. All right. If you want more information about Core1, we have some national and regional events coming up in all of Northwest Europe, in your country, in your region throughout the spring, and there will be a list right at the end for you to check. I think you know by now, but you really should sign up to the Northwest Europe community if you haven't done so yet. And if you want to stay connected with our program, you can check our social media channels and also sign up for updates on nweurope.eu. The PowerPoints, the recording of this event, if you missed a part or if you were a little distracted, it's okay. You can see all of that, and it's going to be on our website along with a brand new FAQ section after this event where we are going to try and answer as many questions as possible, and you'll find all of the answers there. All right, just one word to say thank you to Peter.
Thank you, Perrine.
And thank you to all of us for joining us. We hope you had a nice trip with us, a nice afternoon, and we hope you choose destination Northwest Europe.